guess I can tell you something that really bothers me is this. It's more of a pet peeve of mine. Are videos, and I've mentioned this before in the past, videos that are made on cell phones or some other form of mobile device, and for some reason they just feel the need to leave the video at this long angle. I can't stand that. I have a widescreen TV, and when I see something on YouTube and it's just taking up this little sliver of the screen, I can't stand it. Turn those sideways so you can get a full view of what's going on. You can actually see more. There are possibly other things going on in the background besides this one little sliver. I hate it. I can't stand it.
I can agree. Cameras have been made for years now, so why, when you know that cameras have been made long ways for years, like the first cameras were a box, so maybe it's hard to tell which way it should be
just
setting.
square shape.
But from as long as I can remember, I mean, I remember cameras that were just long pieces, like horizontally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you think to turn your phone that way to record something at least? Pictures upright are okay because most pictures are page. You know, the internet is more page based like that for pictures, but when it's a video, stretch it out.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a very magical thing. You can actually turn it this way, and it works. It's amazing how the screen flips. You know, technology is something wonderful.
Take your iPhone or iPod calculator like this. It's like a school calculator,
just
or
basic.
not school, but yeah, just a calculator. But once you turn it sideways, I don't even understand half of it.
Yeah, it's almost scientific calculators.
I don't know what they mean. What you may not know about us, we're not just into the paranormal and the creepy. Me speaking for myself, I'm into comics and video games, movies, things like that. These things interest me. I'm a nerd or geek. You know, someone said geek's a verb now. It's not a noun.
Yeah.
So I'm geeky. And to start things off, we got a combination of two things that I love, comics and video games. And I have a comic collection, and looking through it, I found like the evolution of video games advertised through comics. First one we're just gonna run through a couple. First one I found was the Intellivision's Bump and Jump video game. This is, I'm sure if I look harder through some of them, I could find earlier starts, but this, to me, Intellivision and Activision and Atari were some of the beginnings anyway. But this one is Jump and Bump. And you can get it.
Yeah, I'll put up.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's get that. All right. And with this one, it's pixelated. I think this would be 8-bit. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's probably 8-bit. I don't think they went into 16 until the Super Nintendo came out.
Plays on the Atari's 2600, or I guess you'd say 2600. The next one we've got actually brings in more pop culture as well as the old video games, and it is an advertisement for Masters of the Universe, the video game.
Yes.
Everyone my age will remember Superman. Everyone my age will remember He-Man and everything that he stood for, but Skeletor was always the best. He always will be. But that's just interesting. You can see the pixelated Castle Grayskull there, and it's new. Ooh, new in 1983.
Yeah.
I was 2 years old.
Oh, those back then. It was
2 years
some of
old.
the funny things about just 2. I was 3. I got you beat by 1 year, I think. But one of the funniest things I find about these old graphics is even when they came out back then, you know, people thought, "Oh man, these graphics are awesome." You know, they're so realistic.
Exactly.
And it's just little squares that are so pixelated.
Next we have an advertisement, keeping with the pop culture, I guess, is Ghostbusters video game. I never knew this existed. It looks like it was made for the early PCs. It's a computer game by David Crane, and I believe it's from, had to be in the 84, so it's just a year along the lines, 84. I noticed how they just left out the black guy.
Yeah. I don't think Winston.
Sorry, my
was
Ghostbusters was always at 14.
Well, yeah, but you know, I don't even remember Winston being shown on some of the box covers as well.
That's true. They just racism at
Racist.
its best. White kids only wanted to watch it anyway. No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you that. Next, we're gonna go with just like it was something I wanted to do because I've noticed a lot of them, and I found looking through them that it's funny in a lot of ways based on the fact that pretty much advertised for themselves. The video games advertised in comics later would go on to advertise video games that were based on comics. So therefore, roundabout, they're pretty much they're selling themselves.
Yeah.
Like a roundabout. But we have this one, which it's got a picture of Spider-Man and everyone. I guess it's for a Spider-Man game that came on the NES, Super NES, and Game Boy. All Nintendo. We have to remember there was a time when there was no PlayStation or Xbox. There was just Nintendo.
And Game Boy before color, when it was just just black and white.
Green.
Just little green.
You should look up the pictures. You could post it. You know, of the Game Boy with all the attachments, the magnifying glass, the speakers, the everything they had there. And also, we can't leave these out because they were just gems for the kids back in the day. X-Men, the handheld, the first portable games they had.
Oh, those were great.
But you know, you could just mash the middle, and everything would show up that was going to show up. So you knew where where the villain was going to be at all times when you played him, because you just mashed down on it and everything would show up.
First hack.
Yeah, first hack, first video game hacks. Other than that, I'd like to know if you're interested in this, just because of the fact that it interests me for some reason, because I'm a geek, and I think that if you want to see more, I have more to post. I want to work on trying to put together galleries so I can just take pictures and put galleries of it out. Otherwise, there's more nerdy things to come.
You know, like Michael, I had some pretty cool interests in back in the 80s as well. Being a child of the 80s, I think it's one of the best decades that I have lived in yet.
We had no choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, that's not to say that yours isn't better than ours. It just, for me personally, I grew up in it. I experienced it. For me, there just hasn't been another decade like it. And then that goes with music, movies, several genres. And, you know,
but we still pick on it. I mean, we grew up, we loved a lot of those things, and they're funny now.
yeah.
And especially cartoons. You go back and watch cartoons when you were a kid, there's a lot of stuff for your mom and dad that we did not get at all.
Yeah, I look back at a lot of those shows from those days, and some of them, you know, it's great to reminisce, look back on your younger years, and see how things, see how you personally have evolved since that time, and realize how silly or how stupid some of this stuff was that you used to watch. It's just ridiculous. And to me, it's embarrassing that I had a thing for this, you know, in my childhood. But, you know, there are things that stuck in, you know, that still stick with me to this day, mostly video games. You know, I didn't follow comics until, I didn't really follow comics until later in life, and I never really got into it as much as I would like to have. I was, you know, brought up
I started young. I started young.
I wasn't exposed to that in an early age. It would have been nice to have been able to experience that at that age, but you know, I'm really getting into that now. And even though Marvel, I wasn't introduced to Marvel until the late '90s, really, and mostly by the movies. I'm a nerd. I consider myself a big geek. Compared to being back in the '80s, if you were such one of those things that you know, people didn't want to have anything to do with you if you were considered a nerd or a geek. You were pretty much in a class of your own. Nobody wanted to be around you. But, you know, that's changed now for the most. You know, you're being a geek. People are proud of it, and they wear it proudly on their shoulder. That's a great thing.
It is. It's a really good thing. This is an unlikely combination because of the fact he's a Trekker, or Trekkie.
Yes.
Sorry, did I miss?
I
said it wrong.
Trekker.
And
I
I'm
say
a Wars.
Trekker. Yeah.
I'm a Wars. Please don't fuck it up, Abrams.
Agreed.
Please don't fuck it up.
And just to say, I think he's already messed up the new series, even though it's supposed to be something.
Are you talking Trek or
Trek,
Wars?
Trek,
okay,
Trek.
I'm talking Wars.
Yeah. Well, as far
How
as
did he get both of those? How did he get both of those?
You shouldn't have those. Gene Roddenberry wouldn't even lay a. George Lucas wouldn't let Gene Roddenberry lay a finger on his art, and I don't see why someone like J.J. Abrams can do both. Both are the.
Only thing I can say is at least it's not Michael Bay. That's it. At least Michael Bay is not doing Star Wars. We will take that every day to the bank. Saw Guardian of the Galaxy, awesome. Don't got a clue who the director is. He did a great job. Needs to keep doing movies. I've seen Transformers, and I'm going to see Turtles. I don't have a lot of hope for Turtles.
I'm a little bit worried about that one myself. Mixed feelings on that. I'll have to wait and see.
If you'd like to see reviews, we'll do reviews, and more than likely the reviews will need the swear jar.
Yeah, most definitely.
A lot of quarters as well.
Yeah, I will say this about J.J. Abrams. You know, you're doing the Star Wars. Give it some, give it some credit where it's due. Do not use a lot of lens flare. I know you have this thing for lens flare.
Yeah.
Leave it
There's
out.
going to be lens flare. There's going to be lens flare.
I mean, there was so much of it in Star Trek. It was unnecessary.
It's in all of them.
Yeah, and even a lot of his TV shows. Man, just leave the lens flare out.
Another thing, please do not put in the, I guess, Easter eggs. None of the movies have had Easter eggs other than his other movies that involved one or the other. I mean, you've already used R2-D2 in the trash scene of Star Trek. Why? Wrong universe. You're not even George Lucas, so you had no reason to do it in the first place. But just no Easter eggs. I don't want to go the scene where you're in Han and Leia's home now and there's the slave outfit on the wall displayed for all to see, because that's not something you would want to remember, I'd imagine. That was very traumatic, I'd imagine. I'm pretty sure Han made sure she kept the outfit.
Oh, of course.
But you don't display something like that.
No, that something like that upsets a lot of fanboys. Yeah. It's not necessary.
I mean, unless Carrie Fisher goes and, like, hits the ball hard and gets down to a nice figure, I wouldn't mind seeing her in it again.
Oh yeah, she's still a bit of a looker, even at her age. She's very attractive.
Just me. Yeah. Yeah. No bras at that time either. Well, thanks for watching again. I use my hands a lot. That's not gonna go away. We'd like to thank you for watching again, of course, and we hope you come back, watch more shows. Eventually you'll get what we're going for. We're geeks. We're pop culture fans, artists. We talk about random shit.
Swear.
He caught me. I think you're right that we should have turned it into an jar.
Yeah.
But anything that fills it up fast enough. Well, these are some of the things that we're interested in, and we hope you are too if you're watching, because I might.
And I'm Joey.
We're just like you. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, fart, turd, and twat.
Yeah!